Hello and welcome to the Kuribros, a Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime recap podcast. I'm your host, coming to you live from 130 meters in the air. I'm Phoenix. Joining me, I had some goons go out in the street, kick his ass, and throw him in a warehouse, and then threw a microphone in with him too. It's Andy. How you doing, Andy?
I'm a little tied up at the moment, thank you very much.
Jokes to this guy. Anyway, minor felonies notwithstanding, we're here to tell all the fun, fine people out there about Yu-Gi-Oh! But before we talk about what happened this week, let's tell them what happened last week.
Sorry to get the sock out of my mouth. So
The
last
what?
episode, when your goons bound and gagged me.
Oh.
They
I said
took it out to
sock.
let me respond so I could make a joke, and then they shoved it back in my mouth and then left, so I had to spit it out.
Oh, they're not getting good review on Yelp then.
You've got them? Where'd you hire them?
Yeah, like Uber. I got you a ride.
Well, you're right. In the comment section, could you also kick this guy's ass and tie him up and put a mic in front of his face?
There's gotta be some Uber-like that does that sort of thing.
Maybe on the dark web.
Yeah.
Either way,
Like those same sickos that are into escape rooms.
you're right. Wait,
I want to know what it feels like to
escape
be in.
rooms.
I want to know what it feels like to be in Saw for an hour.
Well, I think if it's Saw on Disney Channel, if we want to talk about it that way, because you're not cutting your arms off in an escape room.
Well, you find a way to make Saw even less effort than it is.
Well, one time my wife and I did an escape room actually, and
Did you make it out?
we did actually. So it was like a jailbreak kind of theme, and we were handcuffed and we had to find the key. And my wife is, I guess, double jointed or something, so she was able to slip her hand through the handcuffs and find the key for me easily.
Yeah.
And that's how we cut out a good chunk of time. We found all the clues, we got through everything, and we had the key and we were trying to unlock the door and it wasn't unlocking. We were literally like, hey, could someone get in here, because we're pretty sure we found the key. And they opened the door and they're like, wait, that is the key, you did do it, so okay, you win.
What do you get for winning?
We took funny pictures with signs and nothing.
You're not selling the escape room thing on me, you psycho.
It's fun if you like puzzles and just a good time. But if you're looking for a reward such as some sort of compensation for your brain smartness, I don't know. You got to find that one yourself. I haven't done too many. I've only literally done the one.
I think if I wanted to be handcuffed with a woman who I'm endeared to, there's a much more personal and private and cheaper way I could do that. But we're not here to talk about my personal life. We're here to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, like I said before, what happened last time?
Wow, we really digressed on that one.
We?
Yeah, we you came
me?
right. You came right into this with us. You didn't stop me. You enabled.
I don't think we have to talk about my bad habits involving you.
So, last podcast episode, Yugi faced off against a god that isn't Karibo, and Joey swam with the fishes and survived
Was not a fish.
when he dueled Mako Tsunami.
It's a mammal.
Well, not the whale. Well, shit, fuck.
Get fucked.
There
fuck
were
getter.
fishes. There were fishes though.
It wasn't swimming with them.
He was swimming with a lot of things.
He didn't swim once. We just saw him in the stage, and then he was out of it. We didn't see him get there.
He did a ballet twirl. He did do that. I remember that. It was
His
crazy.
shoes are wet as shit, though.
Yes, that is very, very true.
I'd love to see an edit of this where, for the next, episode chunk that Joey's in, anytime he's walking, they hear, the wet squish sound. I got some salt water in my Nikes, you.
See, if I was him and I was doing the duel, I'm like, oh my god, my socks are so wet, you. I can't focus on this duel because I'm feeling my socks squish in my feetsies. Yug.
Ah, jeez,
Yes. Oh, jeez, Yug. It's like One Piece where there's some people that say Marcos is like yaoi, or what does Law say? He says something at the end of things he says.
Oh, yeah.
Sentences. Yeah. And things like that. That's Joey's. It's Yug.
Yeah, I'm just going to school, Yug.
Hey, I'm just going to school, Yug. I'm Taya.
Yeah, I'm going to school with Yug, Yug.
Well, so going back to Yu-Gi-Oh, because we keep digressing.
We!
Me, us, squishy socks. What are we talking about today?
In this episode, we're going to be covering the whole Tag Duel redo which they never say it in the sub, but I'm pretty sure this is the same dudes that Kaiba and Yugi dueled in the street, right?
So this is actually something I want to talk about. It's good we're bringing this up now because they don't specify this in the manga that these are the same two guys. They don't even necessarily really look like the same two guys. Like they
They have the body types of them.
They do. And it's funny because the two guys are dueling them, and when Kaiba just fucking wrecks them the first time, it's like the same body types and whatever. But the one guy, the like shorter guy, he looks a little different, just a little bit. Like the anime makes it seem like it's the same guy, at least design wise. And the anime says it is the same guy, like it's the two same guys. That's why you're thinking that, because we grew up thinking they were.
So in the dub, they say it's the same guys, but not in the sub or the manga. It's just similar and implied.
It's not even implied.
It's just a weird... America has two types of goons, and they're this type.
It's, well, not even America. It's, like, they say it outright in the dub. They say it outright in the dub that these are the two guys they faced earlier. And they had, like, a little flashback shot of them.
I guess doing that lets them just not have to worry about like getting some new voice actors. Just use those same guys they had in the booth.
Were they the same voice actors as the ones before for you?
I didn't super remember it, but I think they sounded the same.
I mean, I guess that's something we'll have to look back and kind of edit in or talk about in the next episode, or remind ourselves to talk about in the next episode. But they don't specify it at all. What they were they called Mask of Light and Darkness?
They didn't have names the first time they dueled them in the alley.
Well, but I mean, like, no, I'm just saying about the...
They are called Mask of Light and Mask of Darkness in the sub.
So they're called the Umbria and
Lumis and Umbra.
Yeah, I was thinking Janemba for some reason.
Yeah, they're Janemba and the other one.
Janemba and Umbria.
Janemba and Tycoon.
Little Dragon Ball humor.
Shout out to everyone who knows that filler.
So they do specify that in the dub, though, that's their names, and that's who because did they do a shot back to the two other duelists in the sub, or they just kind of go on with that?
We didn't see any flashback bits of them.
There was just a little flashback shot to be like, hey, remember these guys? For me, when I was watching the dub.
Maybe it's like the fucking meme, like, I've connected the dots, you didn't connect shit. And it's 4 kids, like, I've connected the characters. You didn't connect shit.
Yeah, exactly. They were just a duelist who had a deck that could beat God cards.
Weird.
I guess for some reason, because two guys of the same body type or similar body type dueled them earlier, 4 kids was like, eh. And he looks kind of like the other guy, but in the manga, he just kind of looks less like that. So I don't know.
I guess the best argument I could go against them being the same guys is when they're beaten the first times in the alley, Kaiba takes their duelist locator cards away from them, and then when they beat them here, they get more. But if they took them the first time, how'd they get new ones? Because if you lose them, you're out.
Well, it's rare hunters or ghouls or whatever you want to call them. They're getting other ones.
I'm going to call them ghouls. It's funnier.
It is funnier. But and that's what they call them in the manga too.
I think we're dwelling on this way more than anyone else involved in this was.
This is the episode of digressing, and I'm okay with it. But either way, yeah. So I don't know. It's kind of like weird, rack your brain around, but I don't think we should be thinking about it too much.
No, I'm just gonna. In my mind, they're the same dudes. Who gives a shit?
I think they're different people. Personally, I think it's supposed to be different people.
Oh, is that what we're gonna do? We're gonna fight today?
I mean, we could. We seem to be arguing a lot.
Are you a bad enough dude to kiss me with tongue?
You had your goons kidnap me, you motherfucker.
Yeah, for free.
Me for free?
You paid to get handcuffed to a woman before. You got this for free.
We weren't handcuffed together. We were handcuffed separately. Like we had both our hands were bound.
Well, that's less romantic.
You're right.
What's the fucking point?
It wasn't supposed to be a romantic thing. It was supposed to be a brain puzzle thing. It wasn't supposed to, I mean, it didn't necessarily have to be. Maybe we were. I don't know. I'll have to ask her later. Maybe we were. Maybe they did do it together.
Did you do it wrong?
I don't know. It was like 5 years ago.
Jesus Christ.
We did it on a whim. We went to we were at like in Florida for a destination wedding for one of our old childhood friends. This is when we first started dating, and like booked for like a week because we didn't want to just be in Florida for like a couple days and then let's leave because
you went all the way. Might as well fuck around.
Yeah, exactly. It was vacation time. We weren't going to be near like any of the like big attractions. We were on like I think Satellite Beach is what it was called.
So it wasn't like Orlando or anything.
No, it was like a lot of beach. It was like we were an hour away from Orlando. We didn't have a car. We had to Uber everywhere.
Oofa.
Because we were too young to rent at the time.
Oh yeah.
And what was it? So we needed to do things some of the other days, and so we were going around the strip, and we found an escape room, and we were just like, why the fuck not? So it was just kind of on a whim.
This sounds like the setup to a horror movie.
I mean, you're right.
Young couple on the way for a destination wedding got some time to kill. They go to this shady escape room and get handcuffed and never came out.
You know, that's not a bad like hour and a half B-list horror movie.
No, it's bad. I assure you it's bad. I paid extra for them to do it bad.
You could make that work. Sure. That's fine. You can make it campy as hell.
Yeah.
I'd love that too. Make it like as fucked up as like old Evil Dead, where it's like just like funny. I don't know if you've ever seen the Evil Dead movies.
The original one or the remade one?
I would say more the second one, not the remake, not the one from 2009. Like there's like the trilogy where it's like Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, and then Army of Darkness. Like I think more in like the 2 realm.
Yeah.
Where it's like a little scary, but mostly played for yucks or over the top. Like he gets a chainsaw hand and shit.
Well, that's just cool.
It is, but silly. Anyway.
Anyway, it's been almost for recording wise, we just passed the 14-minute mark. This has gone on too fucking long. Episode 70, chapters 124 to 126. If you have anything else to say, shut the fuck up, Andy. I'm talking.
I like talking to you, my friend.
All right, well, fucking kiss me with tongue if you like me so much.
Mwah.
Thanks, bro. This episode opens with Joey on the phone with Serenity, both of them celebrating him getting into the finals. Serenity wants to see Joey in the finals, and Joey says they'll come pick her up, and then fucking Tristan volunteers himself to do it.
Yeah, what a dickhead. After
Tristan leaves, Joey, Tay, and Grandpa are approached by Bakura with a bandage around his arm, and he's being supported by Merrick. Just wandered up, Twinks supporting Twinks, I guess.
You love to see it. It's actually really funny because Bakura actually already has a dual disc on when he's being carried by Merrick. Like, he has it on his arm. So that's, like, weird. Kind of like they just threw that away. And it seemed, at least in the dub, it's evil Bakura disguising himself as normal Bakura. Whereas in the manga, it's just Bakura, and he's kind of confused how he ended up, like, injured and with a dual disc.
Yeah, in the sub, Bakura doesn't really say anything. We do see him briefly later with evil Bakura face, but he also doesn't say anything then.
He talks more in the dub, I'm sure. Someone even actually accuses Bakura of stealing his dual disc, and Bakura is, like, utterly confused when he's being confronted. This is why I think it's normal Bakura in the manga. And Joey steps in and just beats the guy's ass.
Oh, we get plenty of Joey beating ass later.
Well, all that violence has been for kids, so I didn't get to see it.
Bummer.
Yeah.
So, Grandpa decides to take Bakura in a taxi to the hospital, and it's actually a pretty smooth transition where we get to see Joey, Taya, and Merrick still in the background across the street, while the Pharaoh and Kaiba cross in the foreground, showing that they've arrived at the aquarium looking for Joey. And it just now occurred to me, like, Tristan just left to go to the hospital to get Serenity, and now Grandpa's like, I'll get a taxi to go to the hospital.
Oh, no.
You gonna call Tristan back first? Nah, fuck him, actually.
Well, you see, what happens is things are done differently from the anime, from the manga, so now they have to make people go back to places in the manga so that it makes sense. Because right now, Tristan hasn't been involved in Battle City in any bit in the manga. He is more nobly in the manga, I might add, going to pick up Serenity so she can watch Joey duel. He has no, like, ill will or intentions of, like, trying to bang her or things of that nature. He's just, Joey means a lot. Like, you mean a lot to Joey, and Joey means a lot to you. Go be with him and find the courage to get your bandages off. So she doesn't even come into she doesn't even come to Battle City till the next duel we're going to be talking about after this episode. And also Duke's with him.
Oh yeah, we haven't seen him in the anime yet.
Nope.
Well, at least after this bit. We got him in the first bit, but not since Battle City started.
We'll get him.
Yeah, actually kind of like him. He's neat.
Me too.
So, despite having just seen cooler characters arrive, we continue following Joey and Taya as they thank Merrick for helping Bakura. and Merrick introduces himself as Namu. The three then all head off together, while Merrick has an inner monologue that is immediately cut off by being, I guess, telekinetically contacted by two ghouls, confirming that Kaiba has Obelisk. Which I guess now if those ghouls are confirming that Kaiba has Obelisk, that does kind of imply that they are the ones who were beaten in the alley, because they saw Obelisk firsthand.
Yeah, but you could also say they reported back.
Regardless, we're still dwelling on this way too much. The ghouls then set off to get back Obelisk and Slifer using special decks that were made to seal the god cards. Merrick makes a plan to use Joey and Taya in the event his ghouls fail, and acting as everyone's friend Namu, he asks Joey for some dueling advice. While they're talking, some ghouls come up behind the three of them, and one of them cold cocks Joey. The rest begin beating the shit out of Namu, Merrick, and then Joey busts out some Street Fighter shit until the ghoul gets Taya in a headlock, at which point the two other ghouls get back up and knock Joey out again.
Was there a knife involved?
I didn't see a
Taya,
knife.
or was it just okay? So I was curious if it got four kids or something. Like if there was like a tool or he actually just had her in a headlock.
No, if there was one, I'm pretty sure I would have clocked it, but I didn't.
You know what I did clock though?
What?
Taya having a little curry bro.
Yeah.
Curry bro
We'll get to that in one hot second.
Dude, I'm so fucked. I think curry bro, and I'm saying curry bro.
Got it.
We fucked
the long
ourselves.
gone. No, I fucked you. That's what happened here. This was intentional on my part.
Mwah.
Thanks, bro. Taya then gets a call on her cell phone from Yugi, which, going back before when Joey was talking to Serenity, it was on Taya's cell phone, which he threw up in excitement at one point. So Taya, being the modern girl that she is in the year of 2003, has a cell phone.
Yo, good for her.
Yeah, good for her. She would have one. So, gets a call from the Pharaoh, and we do see the cute little Kuribo charm hanging from it. Remember when phones had charms hanging from them?
I know you can't really do that now with iPhones, but I guess the phone cases can kind of do that too, or the little pop sockets.
They've got to be able to make like a phone case that has like a little loop in the corner you could hang something.
Yeah, there definitely is. There's definitely things like that, I'm sure.
Yeah, missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So the Pharaoh, calling from a fucking payphone, recalls, after hearing Taya's phone get destroyed by one of the ghouls, that Merrick threatened him via strings to get his friends, and immediately figures out what's going on. Kaiba's waiting outside the phone booth and says that he has Mokuba working to find Yugi's friends. Kaiba's still super turbo duel horny for Yugi, but Yugi hits him with the cold water of friendship and the plot continues. Mokuba calls Kaiba and says he ain't found shit. Mokuba then gets guided by a couple of ghouls on the roof and one cloaked figure with a partial face tattoo.
Mokuba actually does not get kidnapped as leverage for Kaiba to duel in the manga.
Huh. Yeah, I guess they kind of don't need to at the end of the day.
I'll tell you what happens when we get there. What actually happens.
We get a quick shot of Serenity being released by cleared for release by the hospital, and then we're right back to the mean streets of Domino City or Battle City.
We sure do love the cuts.
Yeah, they're rapid fire, but they're not terrible in this one. They just could have been a lot better.
Yes.
The Pharaoh and Kaiba are being observed by a ghoul on the rooftops who busts out some sick Assassin's Creed moves to get to the ground level and get in front of the protags. He points behind them and we see a helicopter flying between the buildings and it's carrying Mokuba on a rope, suspended underneath it. Kaiba is pissed and the ghoul tells the duo to meet on a skyscraper for a duel or their loved ones are totes dead ski.
So what actually happens in the manga is, and I feel like they could have done this and it would have been fine. They didn't have to do this whole Mokuba bit. I think it wasted a little time. So what he does do, and maybe I guess okay, well, whatever, I'll just explain it. Basically what he does is he does this cool Assassin's Creed moves and everything, and he jumps and he throws a device that locks Kaiba's dual disc, and he can't use it anymore. So he's like, oh no, he's like, if you want to get your dual disc unlocked and like everything, like his cards and everything, go up to the roof and get the key. So that's his leverage.
Yeah, other than Mokuba, that's probably the next best thing you could use to get Kaiba to do something.
I mean, he's super dual horny too, so you probably could have got him there anyway.
They fucking threw the chastity cage onto Kaiba in the middle of the road?
Yes.
Right in front of everyone?
Well, there was no one really, but yeah. Like
Jesus
in front of Yugi of all people, so I'm sure he was a little embarrassed.
I can't believe that ghoul just cucked Kaiba right in front of his rival.
I know, right? It's really fucked up. And I think the thing is like Kaiba does have a motivation to want to duel these people because he explicitly states he doesn't want these people around, and he said this was a good opportunity to get rid of them, and he's willing to like take them all on and get rid of them all.
Yeah, it's always weird to me that in Yu-Gi-Oh, the show full of characters that love dueling, There's always some fucker trying to make like some evil motivation to get someone to duel. Just fucking ask him to duel. I guarantee you he wants to.
Like, yeah, usually that's what happens. Like, okay, there's sometimes where I understand there needs to be like some tension and drama, but I don't know why the anime manufactures drama that doesn't really need to be a thing in that sense. Like, you could have done that, and I think you could have, like, it would have been fine. Probably could have saved an episode of this.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll repeat this a couple times, but this did not need to be 4 episodes.
No, it did not. But either way, they'll like, he gets the key when he goes up, but he's like, all right, now we're dueling, you're trapped, kind of thing.
Yeah. So, on the roof, we find the Pharaoh and Kaiba facing off with the ghouls on a skylight above the building. The 2 ghouls have half-face masks on, and the short ghoul is named Mask of Light, and the tall one is Mask of Darkness, but the subnames are Lumis and Umbra, and that's much shorter than using 3 words for the names, so I'm using that. It's another tag duel, where when a player loses, the glass beneath them will break, because they have bombs strapped to them, and they'll fall 130 meters, or roughly 426 feet, to the first floor and become a pancake. Lumis calls it the, quotation mark, the fall and die exploding tag match, end quotation.
Wait. It's not the Shadow Realm?
No.
What?
It's just fall and die. There's no miasma of darkness below the glass. It's just death.
You know, it's even funnier when you know what happens at the end and go, how does he get out of the Shadow Realm with that? My note was, Shadow Realm means explode and fall to your doom in 4Kids language.
Yeah. The duel begins with Lumis going first. He sets 2 cards and passes. Yami's turn. He summons Beta, the Magnet Warrior. Next to Beta, the Kaiba Duelist. Plays it in defense mode and passes. Umbra's turn. He plays Shining Abyss in defense mode. And Lumis then activates the spell Mask of Brutality to power up Shining Abyss by 1000 attack. Which doesn't really help because it's in defense mode, but no one can attack on the first turn in a tag duel. Lumis has to pay life points to keep the Mask of Brutality in effect, but Umbra plays Masked Doll, which absorbs all negatives of mask cards, so the payment is negated. Kaiba thinks teamwork is lame and starts his turn off by setting 2 cards and summoning Vorse Raider in attack mode and passing. This episode will end off with Yami thinking that their opponents have teamwork as a plan. Kaiba wants to work alone, so this will be hard to win.
Yeah, that's kind of how that's the episode for sure.
Yeah.
It's very standard. I think it's very interesting to see how their juxtaposition actually they work to their benefit a little bit in this duel. So I'm excited to talk about that.
Yeah, there's nice little they know each other's way of thinking to work together, which I'm sure I'll bring this up later, or if not, I'll just omit it. But there's a bit where Lumis and Umbra have like little microphone headsets in their masks to talk to each other.
Yes.
But during the duel, many times, Yami and Kaiba just look at each other and just start talking to each other.
Yes, yeah, or like they look at each other and have like an inner monologue thought, and they both go like, "Come on, figure this out. Figure me out. What would I do?"
Yeah, like you're allowed to work together in a tag duel.
Yeah, I know.
Just don't scream it so the other duelists can hear.
Or get your own microphones, idiot.
Yeah, we have microphones.
They never had that in the manga though. Those microphones aren't really in the manga.
Oh,
they just
weird.
For some reason I don't know. They whisper I don't know. Who cares?
Stage whisper. So, episode 71, covering chapters 126 to 127. Right into the duel, it's Lumis' turn again, and he plays Mask of the Accursed, which is put onto Beta, making it unable to attack or defend, and damage will be dealt to that monster's controller at the start of their turn. He then sets 1 more card in the back row and passes turn. On Yami's turn, he takes 500 damage from the mask and then tries to tribute Beta, but Lumis activates Mask of Restrict, which prevents monsters from being tributed, so that's a no-go. Yami then sets 1 card in the back row and plays Kuribros in defense. Crowd goes wild.
Woo!
Umbra's turn, and we see that he and Lumis have headsets, allowing them to talk to each other. That's where that goes. And Yami and Kaiba openly talking, blah, blah, blah. Umbra then sets 1 card in the back row and attacks Kaiba's Vorse Raider with his super boosted Shining Abyss. Kaiba responds by activating Ring of Destruction, which in the sub is unedited as a collar lined with grenades.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it is. It's definitely not that in the anime. I forgot about that.
In the dub, it's like a ring with like balls of fire around it.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. I mean, that's, you know what? One of the times where I'm like, that's fine. It's okay. Either or is fine.
The ring gets put around the Shining Abyss, and Kaiba says that the ring will blow up, destroy Shining Abyss, and damage will be dealt to both players equal to its attack, but Lumis then intervenes to activate Curse Transfer, putting the ring on Vorse Raider instead. Kaiba then tries to play Ring of Defense to negate the damage he would have taken and still do damage to Umbra, but Umbra uses Spell Transfer to take the ring for himself, so Kaiba takes the full damage instead. Shining Abyss then moves to attack directly, and we cut to Tristan navigating public transit.
Yay.
He's on his way to the hospital.
I'm so soaked.
And Grandpa is also in the hospital with Bakura, who's on an IV, which feels like a bit much for just like his arms a little bruised up.
Oh, that's not what happens in the manga.
What happens in the manga?
Evil Bakura stabs himself and then throws the knife in the ocean.
That's a bit much, don't you think? Hey,
Yeah.
put that knife on the list of things we lost in the ocean.
That's right. That's why.
Update
That's
the
why
list.
specifically why I said that. He literally is like when he is talking to Merrick, and he's like, "You can use my host," and he stabs himself, laughs evilly, and then turns back to Bakura, who presumably faints from the shock of the pain of being stabbed in the arm.
Yeah, normal Bakura seems like a fellow that would come down with the case of the vapors pretty often.
I really feel for Bakura, the main Bakura, this entire series.
The dude goes through it for no reason.
He is abused.
He's having a bad day life week.
He is manipulated. His body's used. I feel so bad for Bakura because he is just a sweet lad who wants to play games with friends, and he's been cursed. And it's one of the reasons why I love Evil Bakura as an antagonist so much.
I wonder if Merrick, when he saw Evil Bakura do that, was like, Jesus Christ, I went in on a deal with the wrong guy. He's nuts.
This guy's fucked, but I'll try manipulating because I'm also nuts.
Oh, yeah, they're both super wacky, but this Merrick isn't the craziest Merrick.
Well, we'll get to that one.
Oh, yeah, that Merrick's fun. In a warehouse by the sea, we see Taya thrown into a room by the ghouls. Taya figures out that the ghouls probably kidnapped her to get to Yugi, recalling their talk with Ishizu about a new battle beginning in Battle City, and that it probably wasn't just card games she was talking about. Might be that ancient Egyptian prophecy.
Destiny might be happening.
So, side character plots are now updated. We cut back to the duel to see Kaiba saved by our Lord and Savior as Yami has activated Multiply to make 1,000,000 Kuribros and block the attack. Kaiba is very ungrateful and will be punished for this heresy. Yami tells Kaiba to use teamwork, but he still ain't feeling it. We then cut right back to Taya, trying to climb on boxes to get out of the warehouse, but she falls down. Mokuba's then thrown in the room with her, and she is brought up to speed on the situation by Mokuba. Nice transitions.
I know, it's just a little jumpy.
Back to the duel again. It's Kaiba's turn. He draws Blue Eyes, but he can't summon it due to Mask of Restrict preventing tributing. So instead, he sets one card in his back row and plays Battle Ox in defense. I want to point out here that when he had played Voice Raider on his first turn, he had an inner dialogue about wanting to tribute it to summon a level 6 monster he had in his hand. But when we saw the cards in his hand, the only monsters were Soggy the Clown and Battle Ox, neither of which are level 6, so I guess it's an animation error.
It is, because he does, I forget what the card is, but he did like point out a level 6 card in his hand in the manga. So it is an anime error.
Bummer. Lumis's turn again, and he plays Mask of Dispel, which gets rid of Multiply, and all the wonderful Kuribos made by Multiply go away.
Boo.
Yeah, boo. Lumis then summons Grand Tiki Elder and attacks Kuribo with it. God is dead, and we watched him die.
Do you see the little thing where he's crying, and I felt for that. I felt that in my heart.
Yeah, they put their whole heart into animating Kuribo.
You know, the thing is, he was sacrificed, and he will be reborn. He's like a phoenix that way. Like you, Phoenix.
Hey! Oh, geez, that's me. It's Yami's turn. He takes some more damage from the Mask of the Accursed. He then weighs the pros and cons of using the card he drew for turn, which was Card Destruction, which would get rid of every player's card in their hand and make them draw new ones equal to the amount discarded. But as he's thinking about this, Kaiba interrupts his thoughts to cleverly tell Yugi to play it so high-level monsters can get into the grave. He does it by saying like, oh man, it's got this shame about all those high-level monsters that can't be played. Might as well send them to the graveyard.
Might as well, yeah.
Not clever at all.
He really kind of, he says that I think the voice actor in the dub does it a little more facetiously, where he's like, you know, these hands are useless, kind of, and he's like, these hands are useless, so if you have a card that can let me get rid of this hand, like, I would be more than like grateful for that, or because there's nothing we can do, is there? Kind of really, I like the voice actor for Kaiba. He does a very good job.
Yeah, Eric Stewart.
Yes, that's his name.
Yeah, very good. Yami then sets one card and just passes his turn. So he hasn't played the card yet. Umbra then plays the ritual Curse of the Masked Beast and tributes Shining Abyss and Grand Tiki Elder for the Masked Beast, which has 3,200 attack points and moves to attack Yami with it. But Kaiba blocks the attack with his Battle Ox. Kaiba says he's only repaying Yami for Kuribo, and he will never be able to match God's Sacrifice for him.
That's right.
Quit trying. Yami now plays Card Destruction, and all players discard their hands and draw that many cards. Kaiba then takes his turn and plays Monster Reborn to revive his Blue Eyes, which gets around the Mask of Restrict because it wasn't tributed. The episode then ends, and there are so many not how this works in this episode. My god. Timing.
Oh, like as far as how rules and plays and
like
everything?
They activate Mask of Brutality on another player's turn. It's an equip card. They use Mask of Dispel on Multiply. Multiply wouldn't linger, so it wouldn't be able to be dispelled.
Don't you just love drama in the show that doesn't make sense in the actual rules?
The drama is in my fucking heart right now.
I can hear it heart beating quickly because of all the fuck-ups.
Yeah, we do also see a quick little animation of some card that Yugi had sent to the graveyard crawling out of a grave. But we don't expand on that in this episode. That comes later.
Yes. And you know what? I got him confused with two different cards, and I was like, oh, this is just how they say it in the whatever. Or they're saying the wrong card. And then I had to re-edit my notes because I was like, oh, it's two different cards. I just for some reason got him confused.
Womp womp.
Maybe I'll talk about that later. I don't really have any notes for this one or anything really to add. There's just so much fluff in this episode. They really hang on the side character plots a little longer than Phoenix divulged into.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole lot of nothing. It's a whole lot of the same.
Yeah, it's the Yu-Gi-Oh show. Show us the Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's padding. This was the episode I think we could have taken it out and we probably could have saved a good bit of time and we could have made it like 3 parts.
This is probably the most they've ever split up the cast because we have Yugi and Kaiba in one group. Taya and Mokuba are now together in a thing. Grandpa's off with Bakura. Tristan is off with Serenity. And Joey is currently, at the point of this episode, still unknown. So that's 5 different groups we have to manage.
Yeah, it is definitely the most they've ever been split up. I think that's thematically, if I'm kind of thinking about it, it's probably thematically like purposeful. Like that all the friends are split up. You know, it's like they're all like divided. So they're all a little weaker. So they're all in their own trouble that they have to figure out to get out of. Which is really kind of interesting, but also because of it, a lot of what Taya's character is right now is worrying about Yugi and worrying about friendship, and it's very one-dimensional, and I don't like it.
She is damsel in distress.
It's shitty because like they're just using her to use her, and I think that's just not right.
Yeah, why couldn't Tristan have been kidnapped? We didn't need him. Have her go get Serenity.
Because
she
Yugi
has a phone.
Yugi wouldn't have gone to save Tristan. You know it.
Oh yeah, no one should.
That's the thing. Okay.
Can you imagine if we had a plot where we had to save Tristan?
No. Oh God, there is going to be one kind of.
That's the joke.
Oh no, we could have just kept him in there. We really could have.
Yeah. Well, enough monkeying around. Let's get on to the next episode.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Got him.
Fuck you. I hate that. All right. Well, now I'm amped up. All right.
Boom.
Episode 72. Fuck you. Episode 72, chapters 120. 120. Episode 72 for the third time, chapters 128 to 129. Did you notice I put brackets in the paragraph brackets in the thing?
Yes, I'm so fucking grateful.
Thank you. I wanted that validation before I started. We pick up where we left off with Kaiba summoning his Blue Eyes White Dragon. Kaiba is feeling a little strong with his deck's ace monster on the field. I'm not counting Obelisk because Obelisk was given to him and Kaiba's very normal about Blue Eyes. Yami warns the 2 rare hunters that they are a strong duo that they cannot hope to match against. Kaiba, still in the business of jerking himself off whenever possible, takes the opportunity to do so here and says he is just a superior duelist and he doesn't need to team up with Yami to win, so don't expect any help unless it benefits Kaiba. Lumis reminds Kaiba that even though he was able to pull out his Blue Eyes White Dragon, it's still no match for the Mass Beast, which has 3,200 attack. Yami intervenes and tells Kaiba that Blue Eyes will be able to defeat that monster, much to Kaiba's surprise. Yami reminds Kaiba that they are a team, whether he likes it or not, and that Yami will support Kaiba when he is able to do so, so he wants Kaiba's trust in his advice. Kaiba goes for it and attacks the Mass Beast, which actually gets destroyed much to the rare hunter's surprise. Yami reveals that when he sent his Archfiend of Gilfer, which for some reason I got confused with Baphomet,
Well, birth mint was in his hand as well, and they are both like humanoid shape with wings, so I can understand the confusion there.
Well, I appreciate that. Either way, when that card was sent to the graveyard, his ability was to make a monster in the field lose 500 attack points, which Yami used on the masked beast, setting it down to 2,700. Yami tries again to make Kaiba see the benefit of them teaming up, but Kaiba reacts super normally by thinking that Yami just wants to hog all the glory for himself. In the manga, I think it gets through to Kaiba a little easier as he doesn't react that way, but he stays silent. Like he's kind of like, I'm not going to admit you're right, but I'm listening now, it seems like. Kaiba's a little more normal, actually, not sarcastically in the manga, where he kind of like begrudgingly sees the way and it's not so braggadociously like stubborn.
There was a bit earlier where after like Yugi got off the attempted phone call to Taya, where Kaiba's like, who would have thought, working side by side with my greatest enemy. You know, I'm trying very hard to resist the urge to duel you right here and now. And Yugi just looks at him and says, I'm worried about my friends. I'll deal with you later.
Yeah, he's like, you're being like, weird. Don't make it weird. No, I think he just wants to fuck Yugi. I really think so. I think he's got a very sexually charged feeling for Yu-Gi-Oh. For Yugi. Well, Yu-Gi-Oh's correct too.
Are we going to have a new counter to match the Things Lost to the Sea? Characters who definitely want to fuck the Pharaoh a little bit.
Well, we got Kaiba. And you know what? I'm going to put Merrick in there. I think Merrick wants to fuck the Pharaoh.
I'm going to put Yugi on there.
You're going to put Yugi as in regular Yugi?
Yeah.
That could work too. Yeah, that's not weird. Taya definitely wants to fuck Yugi.
Definitely.
That's it for now.
Probably it for now.
We'll get there. There's probably more. Probably the darker side of Merrick wants to fuck Yugi too.
Oh, Hondo P.
He wants to do some BDSM shit with Yugi.
Oh yeah, you can definitely tell Merrick's got like a whole thing about control.
Mm-hmm. Either way.
What's the age rating on this podcast?
We say fuck so much, it's fucked.
One of my favorite things I heard is a different podcast line. It was, yeah, this is an adults only show because we don't bleep the fucks.
Well, we don't definitely bleep the fucks either. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that'd take way too much editing. Fuck that.
Either way, it's Lumis's turn, and he places a face-down defense monster and 2 face-down cards in the back row. It moves to Yami's turn, and he loses another 1,000 life points thanks to the Umbra's fucking combo.
The Mask of the Accursed and the Mask of Dispel each take 500 out.
Yes, exactly. Yami places a face-down in the back row and summons Alpha, the Magnet Warrior, and has it destroy the face-down defense monster Lumis just summoned. Umbra is worried that since they are left without any monsters, Kaiba can go in for the attack, but Lumis tries to assure Umbra that he has it covered and is confident in their strategy. We cut to the shipyard where our plucky pals, Taya and Mokuba, are being held prisoner in one of the warehouses. They are trying to find a way out when Taya sees a convenient stack of boxes up near the window to the outside that Mokuba can fit through. We cut to Joey, who is tied up and wants answers from the cloaked right hand of Merrick, but he won't get any as Merrick appears to use his Millennium Rod powers on Joey's mind. We cut back to Taya and Mokuba, who are making their escape. The guards walk in on their escape, and Taya ends up holding them back, but Mokuba is able to escape. It's like we didn't have to do this, so Mokuba would just do his thing.
Did Taya intentionally hold the guards back in the dub?
No, she fell. I just didn't feel like saying that.
Okay, just making sure there's not a difference there. Same thing. Accident. Lucky accident.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Mokuba was able to escape, and Taya ends up holding him back unintentionally. We get back to the duel, and it's Umbra's turn, and he summons Rogue Doll, which is much weaker than Blue Eyes White Dragon, but he still attacks. Kaiba's confused, but laughs off the weird attack choice, but suddenly Lumis activates the Mask of Weakness trap card, which attaches to Blue Eyes White Dragon and weakens it, and Mask of Brutality to raise the strength enough to beat the Blue Eyes. He puts that on Rogue Doll. Yami then activates a trap card of his own in Mystical Ref
Panel. It's dumb name. It's not a word.
Which gives Kaiba's Blue Eyes the 1,000-point buff, destroying the Rogue Doll, sending him down to 2,000 life points. Kaiba's pride is taking a hit again as Yami helped him again, but he seems to be starting to understand that he may need Yami to get out of this duel with a W. Umbra and Lumis go back and forth as their tag team foundation begins to crumble. Yami takes notice and tries to figure out a way to take advantage and also have Kaiba work together with him to achieve victory. Again, this is where he's like, he realizes the juxtaposition, so he needs to figure out how to make that work to his advantage. Umbra decides Lumis is not worth trusting for help and will finish off the duel on his own terms as he places a car face down the back row. We cut to Tristan and Serenity running to catch a train to Domino City, which they barely make. Serenity's excited to see Joey, but is nervous to take off the bandages. Tristan assures her that she will be fine as we cut away to get back to the main event, the duel. Kaiba hastily goes in for a direct attack on Umbra without taking into consideration Umbra's face down card. This flaw costs Kaiba as Umbra activates the Mask of Impregnability, which protects Umbra from direct attacks for 1 turn. Umbra boasts about Kaiba's blatant misplay, but Kaiba retorts that he could have also attacked Lumis, but would have Umbra used the same move to protect his partner, playing the seeds of doubt in Lumis's head, furthering the divide. We cut back to Tristan and Serenity having a meaningless conversation about the friend zone or something in the dub, when we cut to Joey entering Tea's hostage room, and Tea's trying to get his attention, but he isn't responding. Joey reveals he is under the control of Merrick as we get back to the duel. Oh no. It's Loomis's turn, and he plays Pot of Greed, but I don't know its effect is, so don't ask. Loomis plays a face-down card and the card exchange spell to switch hands with anyone in the duel and takes Umbra's. Loomis then activates the Chosen One magic card, which takes 3 cards, 1 monster, and 2 magic cards. If the magic cards are picked, the 3 cards are destroyed, but if the monster chosen is automatically summoned. The magic card chooses the monster, what are the odds, and it summons Mass Beast Desgardius with 3,300 attack points. Our dueling boys are in a pickle as Loomis decides how to best proceed with the duel. Yami's in a bigger pickle as he is wide open for taking the finishing blow by Loomis and is shown worrying as the episode ends. We go on to episode 73, which covers chapters 129 to 131 and finishes off the duel. Thank God. We pick up where we left off, and Loomis ends up deciding to go for Yami and finish him once and for all. Umbra objects as he wants a say in the decision since they are a team. Umbra warns about Blue Eyes remaining on the field, but Loomis seems unmoved by the reminder and wants to continue to take out Yami. Kaiba starts taunting Loomis and calls him a coward for not going against his Blue Eyes White Dragon and convinces Loomis to use his attack and destroy Kaiba's dragon, which he ends up doing so. Kaiba is clearly pissed he had to sacrifice his favorite card to help Yami and tells him to destroy them. He's like, destroy them, Yugi. Yami's turn, he loses another 1,000 life points, sending him down to 500, but Yami is not concerned as he says the duel will be over soon anyway. Yami reveals that Loomis made a mistake not attacking him and he will summon a monster strong enough to take them down. The Rare Hunters are confused as the duo can't tribute summon still. Yami then summons Gamma, the Magnet Warrior, and reveals that there is more than one way to summon a strong monster. Now that the 3 Magnet Warriors are on the field, they merge with each other to summon a powerful monster known as Valkyrion, the Magna Warrior, with 3,500 attack points. Kaiba demands Yami attack them to avenge the fallen Blue Eyes White Dragon he had to sacrifice so Yami could make his play. He's acting like he had to sacrifice Kuribros, which is nowhere near as lame as Blue Eyes White Dragon. Kuribros the best. Yami takes a pause as he notices even though they have the advantage, the 2 Rare Hunters don't seem to be all that concerned about the situation. Loomis tries to goad Yugi into attacking as Kaiba is in his ear also telling Yami to attack, but he has his doubts. Yami then sets a card face down and tries to reason with Kaiba as anger is only playing into their hands and he's losing focus. Kaiba is frustrated as he has Obelisk in his hand, but he can't sacrifice it to summon it. Then he realizes he has Soul Exchange in his hand, so Yami might be setting Kaiba up to take the victory. Kaiba says in his own way that he understands Yami's idea and Yami goes in for the attack. He says something along the lines of like in the manga where he's like, Kaiba, if you can tell me you're cool, calm, and collected and like you understand what's happening right now, I'll do the attack if you trust me.
Yeah, in the sub he says, can you hold off your need for revenge for 1 turn?
He says something along those lines, yeah.
And Kaiba's like, fine.
He's like, oh, whatever. Just get the glory again. Guardius is destroyed, but his ability is activated to take control of Valkyrion. The Dastly duo seem to have the game in the bag. Umbra goes in for the direct attack on Yami, but Yami activates Defusion, which is not how that works, but whatever. The 3 Magnet Warriors are split apart, and the attack is over. It's Kaiba's turn, and he declares he is going to summon Obelisk. Loomis reminds Kaiba that he can't do that, thanks to the card he has to stop the tribute summoning. Kaiba rains on their parade by saying he can't sacrifice his own monster, but he can sacrifice theirs as he plays Soul Exchange. He uses the Magnet Warriors that they took from Yami and is finally able to summon Obelisk the Tormentor. Kaiba goes in for the attack and obliterates Umbra's remaining life points. Umbra then falls down to his doom but has a parachute to save him, which is, a little weird when you're thinking about it in Shadow Realm context where it's like, so the way to get out of a Shadow Realm is a parachute?
Yeah, they keep you safe. You can also hide under a blanket, have elbow pads. Any number of protective measures can help you in the Shadow Realm.
Yami tells Loomis that he is outmatched and to give up. Kaiba wants to take Loomis out, but Yami is trying to make Kaiba see reason as Loomis gets a case of the Merrick mind worms.
Gross.
Merrick says even though they beat his rare hunter god killer duo, they still played their part. Yami demands to know where his friends are. Then Kaiba's like, who the fuck is this? And Yami explains who Merrick is and how he does what he does. And Kaiba demands to know where Mokuba is, which Merrick doesn't, care to tell him. He's like, fuck you, I don't want to tell you. Merrick says he's been preparing for the next phase of his plan and has studied their decks through the eyes of his rare hunters. Merrick reveals Winged Dragon of Ra, his god card, is more powerful than both Yami and Kaiba's, so he'll have no trouble getting theirs from them. Merrick says Yami's god card and puzzle will be his soon, as he found a way to play to Yami's loyalty to his friends. He alludes Yami's friends may not be on his side anymore, while we get a shot of Taya and Joey with cold blank stares in their eyes. Merrick believes this will make Yugi want to surrender and give up everything Merrick wants. Kaiba gets the locator cards from the rare hunters, so Yami and Kaiba now have 6 cards to guarantee them a spot in the finals. Man, we're moving quick. Kaiba and Yami try to figure out how to find their loved ones as Kaiba's chopper pulls up with Mokuba inside. Mokuba tells them everything that happened and they go find the rest of the gang. We cut to Tristan and Serenity at the train stop, and Tristan tries to buy a bunch of food for Serenity and almost misses the train, and they chow down. Serenity reiterates her fear of not being able to see because there isn't anything else for these two to talk about, and we have the same conversation they've had all season about Joey being her anchor and vice versa, and I'm afraid of my eyes, and because she doesn't have enough lines in the manga because we don't need to put her in so fucking much. Either way, we cut back to the plot as Mokuba finds Joey's dual disc and the main characters head off to find Joey as the episodes end. Hoo boy, this was a 4-parter for sure.
Didn't need to be.
It really didn't need to be. I'm gonna tell you, Serenity's cool and all. I'm getting tired of the Tristan Serenity cutaways.
Oh yeah, extremely.
Not even if it's not the gag of Tristan trying to date Serenity or whatever. It's just there's nothing there, and it's such a waste of time. I feel like you could spend it, like, if you're really trying to pad that time, I think you could find a better way to do it, or just like have Yugi and Kaiba monologue or something a little longer, or I don't know. Don't make it 4 parts. I don't know what the hell the syndication was like with that, but like, Jesus Christ, you could have used any, like, maybe if you needed the extra episode, you could have done either a filler episode or like, you could have done something. It didn't need to be what this was. So I don't know. This duel is, in the grand scheme of things, this duel's kind of whatever to me. What I do say I will like positively is I like Kaiba and Yugi dueling together. That was fun and like a cool dynamic because it was kind of like bred into the conflict too, where like Yugi's kind of like, I have to face off against 2 guys who have like a great tag team kind of strength against a guy who literally jerks off to himself in a mirror with his 3 blue eyes white dragons in the background, and pretty much a narcissist.
Yeah, it's very different from the previous tag duel he had with Joey against the Paradox Brothers, where they're best friends and they both want to accomplish the same thing, and both knows that they can succeed by boosting the other up, whereas Kaiba wants to be the person who wins the duel. And
Yugi does give it to him.
Yeah.
He does give it to him. He does do the obelisk kill. We haven't seen Yugi play his god card yet.
No, we haven't.
No, that'll come later. But so it's like, I don't know. But this duel is like whatever. Like Lumis and Umbra are very one-dimensional villains.
Yeah, we can't even tell if they're characters we've seen before.
Exactly. So it's kind of like, again, it feels like it drags on a little bit to the point where I kind of like, it loses me a little bit more. Like I feel like Arcana was a little bit more interesting, and he didn't even get that much backstory in the manga, and I still found him a little more interesting just because of kind of who he was.
I think that's a fair assessment. I did like how in the first episode, how all the plot points were progressing like super quickly, and it was like neat and dramatic because you had like Joey fighting off goons, you had the guy running off the roof, you had them helicopters flying through the streets, all nice and exciting. And then once the duel actually starts, everything slows down super hard.
Yeah, that's the thing. The pacing gets really kind of fucked, and it kind of brings the quality down a little bit for me, which is kind of a shame because it's a fine duel. It's an enjoyable duel in the manga. It's it's over with sooner than you kind of understand, and you cut out all that fluff. I get that there needs to be some fluff, and you need a B plot in like a TV show, and like structure is a little different, so you have to kind of work with that. But it's just it's so clear they don't know what to do with it. It kind of stinks, and it makes me also kind of go, man, again, like goes back to the point I always kind of feel like I make, where like what would someone do now with, I guess the format's a little change, and you can kind of do a little more with animation. Like what would a reboot look like, and how would that be paced, and could you pace it a little better?
In the reboot, we would let him fall to his death.
Well, he does do the parachute thing there too, so I'm fine with that. It's
no
that.
parachute in the reboot.
Oh my god!
Straight
So we're
to the
just
Shadow
changing
Realm.
other story
The
bits.
Shadow Realm is still there, though.
The Shadow Realm is at the bottom, which was, I don't know. They didn't even insinuate that. I don't even know what they said. Like,
who made the Shadow Realm there?
That's what I'm saying. It's so they're like, well, it's kids show, so they don't care.
No, you know what we should do? When the reboot happens, we should have Yami be the one who makes this into a shadow game where if the thing falls, you go to the Shadow Realm. Shoei's not fucking around because they kidnapped his friends. Make him go dark.
Well, they tried to do that in one season. It didn't work out so well.
Oofa!
It would be.
I forgot about it.
I will say, though, I would kind of like that, though. That would be a kind of a cool dynamic, and it would hark back to old Yu-Gi-Oh! Because he was the one setting up shadow games in old Yu-Gi-Oh! So it would be kind of cool to get a little callback to that.
Yeah.
If we're trying to keep this like with kids or whatever, that would be like a fine, interesting way. But honestly, I would like to keep a lot of like what's been censored, uncensored. But
no, kids love sending people to hell.
Yeah, you may not be wrong there. I don't know. I'm not a kid anymore, so I don't know what the kids are into these days.
Vaping, I think.
There is a lot of that.
TikTok.
TikTok's pretty universal until it's banned.
Overthrowing the government. I support them on that one.
You know what? I think a lot more kids are getting radicalized. Not to try and make this a like anything political, but I think a lot of kids are getting radicalized by different social medias now. I mean, it's kind of pretty transparent. Either way, to go back to the episode, yeah, I don't know. There's not really much to say about it. I think it gets dragged down a little bit too much for my liking, but it's a fine duel. Yugi and Kaiba kind of make most of it. I don't like how much we cut to Serenity and Tristan. I don't really care too much about how many times we cut to Taya climbing up boxes and falling.
And Grandpa was there.
He was, that's fine though. He doesn't need to like do all that much. Like he did enough. That's okay. I don't mind that. What do we need Kaiba? What do we need Grandpa Moto to do right now other than take Bakura?
He can buy alcohol for everyone.
That's illegal.
He could he gets like the early bird special at Denny's.
I mean, he could do that, but I don't feel like that would add anything to the story.
He owns a house.
He owns a card shop that has a house attached to it.
I wish I had a card shop that had a house attached to it.
Would be nice. There's a woman who lives there that sometimes we acknowledge, but we will never acknowledge again.
She might be a figment of his imagination or ours.
Or Yugi's, because she's the only one. That's the only person who ever interacts with her.
Is there another spirit in the puzzle? And it's
Maybe.
of that woman?
Well, I was gonna say there.
Well,
Bakura.
we'll get to him.
Well, they set that up, so it's okay. We could talk about that. That's like we could talk about the fact that we do know he's somewhere in the puzzle, but we don't know what the fuck he's doing yet.
Yeah.
But that's way on later. But even
how many kids you got in this thing?
I don't
Mike
know. That's
Wazowski
a
voice.
good question. But we're kind of moving quick through. We're almost to the finals, actually.
Yeah, everyone's got enough stuff to qualify for the finals, so I wonder what's going to occupy us for this next couple episodes.
So what's going to occupy us for this next couple of episodes is we are going to do another 4-parter duel against two of the best of friends, but one of the best of friends is a little fucked in the head. As the Yujo friendship is in danger as Joey is mind freaked by Merrick, and Merrick sets up a duel of the death, or probably the Shadow Realm, in Yugi and Joey dueling off against each other, but Merrick is taking over Joey's mind. And everyone could die. Will they? We'll find out next episode of The Kuribros.
Yeah.
I'm actually excited for this duel. I'm always excited for Yujo friendship. So this is probably one of the biggest duels of the season.
Yeah, I think it's probably the most personal stakes, really.
Yeah, it's the most conflict, and I think we'll talk about it then. But if I remember correctly, it does a very good job at setting up a lot of very hard conflicts for both Yami and Yugi. So it's really cool. This will be probably a really cool dramatic duel to see, and also just love Joey. This is probably one of my more favorite Joey moments, and it's got a lot of cool Joey stuff in it, if I'm remembering correctly. So, I'm actually very excited to talk about this next one. So hopefully this one doesn't get bogged down by a bunch of dumb subplot. But I know it probably does a little bit.
There's a little bit of dumb stuff, but this is also when all the characters will come together. So we'll hopefully clean up a lot of that.
I think it'll also kind of bring back that thematic, like, all the friends are there. That's how they kind of pull it out, maybe. So let's test that theory next episode.
Hey, let's go.
Any other thoughts, comments, or concerns that you want to bring up about the episodes we just watched?
After reading how you spelled Loomis, I did a Google check of it, and I'd been doing it wrong this whole time.
What'd you think it was? Double O's?
I thought it was you. 2 U's.
Is it?
It's UI. Loomis. I thought it was Loom Us.
Oh, you thought... Oh, okay. Well, interesting. No, yeah, it's Loomis. Dummy.
Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say about it. It is what it is. I'm just more excited for the next one now.
Hey, thank God we vamped for 15 minutes because we barely got over an hour.
You know what? That's crazy because I'm like, okay, it's a 4-part episode. We'll get to the hour. I mean, there's going to be probably stuff that I have to cut out too, so whatever.
Yeah, but still, Jesus Christ.
Good. This will be easier editing on me.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm very backlogged right now. Well, I'm not
Love
too
that for
backlogged, but I'm a little backlogged right now.
Well, let's go to our closing call-outs, shout-outs.
You wanna do your thing? That's always how I set it up. You want to do your social media damn thing?
Oh, I would love nothing more than to see the downfall of the horrible country that America has become. But since I still have to wait for that, I'm just going to do my self-plugs. You can find me on the internet at twitch.tv/PhoenixFarce or youtube.com/PhoenixFarce, PhoenixFarce. There you can find me streaming various virtual card games, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, MTG Arena, Marvel, Snap, occasionally breaking out into more long-form single-player things. Stop by for a good time, not a long time. Andy, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram at apapasergi, PAPPASCRGI. I will be posting a lot more art stuff. Actually, as these episodes are posting, I will have more art on the Instagram that I'll show off, and I have a lot of cool projects coming up with my music stuff that I will be posting more about and probably doing some sort of stuff on the side for. We just actually, one of my bands actually started recording today, and we'll have a split out probably by the time this episode comes out. So I'll edit that in if it is, but until then, we'll kind of see what happens. All right, this is the end, so we're signing off. My name's Andy.
I'm Phoenix.
Giddy up, and goodbye.
Kiss me, you animal.
Mwah!